The persistent scarcity of new Naira notes seems to have defied all solutions, foisting untold hardship on ordinary Nigerians, hereby leaving the economy, especially small businesses, gasping for breath. Against the backdrop, confusion now reigns in many states as businesses reject old Naira notes while the new notes are widely unavailable, despite the Supreme Court's ruling that allows the injunction that allowed the use of old notes alongside the new ones until the old ones are phased out. However, in the past weeks, businesses' economic activities have been seriously affected by the Naira redesign policy, and unfortunately, some self-centered individuals are cashing on the situation to cause further hardship on the people by not accepting the old Naira notes during transactions. Well, let's talk about this, and joining me virtually from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to discuss this and more on this development. He is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Dignity Finance and Investment Limited, Dr. Chijioke Ikechukwu. Dr. Ikechukwu, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, I know we've talked about this before, but it's sad that we are still where we are. No new notes. Old notes are not available. The Supreme Court had an injunction on the matter. The federal government has decided to say, this is the way we'll go. You're a business person, I know. I don't know if you're a lawyer, but what is your take to all of these issues before we get to how it's eating deep into the fabric of the economy?
Okay, my take is the fact that the country is such a very large one. We have a very large population, and so distribution of new currency, new notes to all parts of the country, obviously would be expected to take a long time. And even in a long time, it will require that on daily basis there will be movement of cash in all parts of the country simultaneously. Unfortunately, we have a lot of places, including Abuja and Lagos, that you and I are, where these funds are not available. If you go to any commercial bank right now, you see how their entrances are trunked by people who want to access their cash. And some other banks have actually shut down their branches because of pressure from customers. And so all these have worsened the situation. Even as the president announced that 200 Naira notes will just be made available, it will take a reasonable time for these of course, for the old Naira, the note of 200 to also come out from CBN and get gradually into circulation and get to all nooks and crannies of the country. So it is still not going to solve the problem like today, tomorrow, because to distribute these funds all over the country will take a long while. Even if it's not a long while, like a reasonable while. So I think Nigerians should try as much as possible to embrace the cashless system where electronic means of payment will just be the order of the day. Unfortunately, there are people in the remote areas who have never tried such electronic banking ever before. So it's going to be difficult for such people to embrace it right now because many of them are selling things, many of them are buying things. If you have a good number of people to sell things to, and every time you are calling your account number and they're transferring, and you know what is going on with the electronic system of payment right now. Many of them are just not going easily. You have to wait until the person confirms the balance before they will allow you to leave. So these are very cumbersome. It's a cumbersome period for the entire country, and Nigerians are facing it right now. But I know with a little patience, with the 200 Naira notes, spreading back to the system, I expect that this suffering will be ameliorated. And those are the things we expect to happen.
But many will say it's not as easy as you just said it now, saying the 200 Naira could get back into circulation, even when something that 200 Naira might not even meet up to what is expected. But I would like to ask you that clearly something went wrong. Other countries have gone through this process, very seamless, and enough time to get back funds to the Apex Bank. But this seems like it's so swift and we don't even have the capacity to manage it. Talking about the online platforms that should take charge of these transactions that we do. Nigeria is still largely a cash-based economy.
Yes. In fact, what we're experiencing with the electronic system of payment is almost like a double jeopardy, because at the time the electronic system was supposed to help in payments. That's even when many of them are crashing. So I really don't understand what has gone wrong. But I think what it could just be is the fact that there's so much demand on the capacity of some of these electronic systems that when people are just demanding for the services of these systems, then probably they are taking more than the capacity of those machines and those systems. So because of overcrowding, they are having this problem of making payments. But having said this, I agree with you that it's not going to be as easy because we do not even know whether we have enough 200 notes that can serve the whole of the country within this period of time. We don't know that fact. And so let us only expect that we will have it, we do have it, and it will be distributed and it will get to everybody. But like I said, a lot of people will have to do a lot in electronic payments right now, except for those ones that have to go to the local markets to buy one or two items, then you will really need cash. Drivers of taxis are beginning to accept electronic system of payment. But I know a lot of them are frustrated, and passengers are frustrated also, where you get to a stop, different people are stopping at different places. Will the person transfer and the thing is confirmed before the bus will start moving? So you see that there are so many issues and so many problems that are arising from this new normal of payment. So, I think everybody, all hands must be on deck. The banks, the commercial banks must be on deck. All their hands must be on deck. The CBN must actually put heads together to ensure that this process gets seamless, more seamless than we have ever experienced.
Let me take.
Banks also.
Allow me to take my next question from that point where you said all hands must be on deck. Commercial banks must also work with the Apex Bank. Now, when something is not available, that is when people take advantage of it. Just like when fuel is not available, you see black marketers having a swell day and making a lot of money and smiling to the bank. Now the Naira notes are not available, the same is happening. If you get to some places, you get these notes as scarce as they are, but you pay for it. So that means that sharp practices are being perpetrated one way or the other in all of the value chain of this distribution. So a lot needs to be done to help address this suffering. I'm concerned about the suffering of Nigerians, nothing more, nothing less, because we cannot get these funds. So what do you think about the sharp practices going on across the banking sector? Yes, we know some people have been arrested, but how many are we going to get arrested?
So you see that when there is a major problem with demand and supply, and especially with supply, it is that which will generate sharp practice. It is that which will generate some other malpractices that may happen. The shortage of supply is so much. It's so much that to the extent that only a few who are ready to pay the price can have it. And of course, these few must be very desperate to have it. And if they're desperate, they're ready to pay any amount of money. And so when supply is having this kind of shortage, you will see sharp practices will happen. Prices, the cost of doing that business will just be high, as the case may be. It happens. It happens in virtually everything, not just on currency. I remember when it was difficult for people to get import license in this country. It was difficult at that time, and so many importers were able to pay a lot of money, to the officials that were in charge at that time to get the import license done. So when there is demand, so much demand for a particular service that is not there, you see that this sharp practice will happen. But I want to believe that it would be better that certain scapegoats are found and given, used as examples for others. I don't think we already have enough people that have been arrested. If more and more people are arrested, Nigerians are going to be very cautious and these monies will start coming out. You know that before the deadline came out, the monies were available. And I know at that time I could even access up to 200,000 without any stress. But towards the end, the monies disappeared from the system. So the question I asked myself was, so what happened? Is it that somebody just mopped all of those things away and mopped them from the system and packed somewhere to make them scarce or what? I do not know. But there needs to be a lot of investigation by the apex body. There needs to be a lot of investigation by the top management of banks, and in order for them to unravel what has happened, because it's either the supply is not enough or that it became enough and were collected from the system. There needs to be serious inquiry, serious investigation. And so anybody found guilty of this particular offense should actually be made to suffer, whether a system, a bank, or otherwise, must be made to suffer for this, because the country is heavily embarrassed. We are suffering, everybody's suffering it. It doesn't look like you're suffering enough in this whole thing, but I am, because I can't even access cash anywhere.
So, well, I must tell you that I'm also yet to get the new notes. I'm still looking for it. Even the banks are all closed down. So I have to make do of the online platform that is not also 100% dependable. We have some live pictures we were showing while we're speaking, and that is the scene at the CBN headquarters in Lagos. You can see the crowd there trying to go in. Now, monetary policies should ease the life of people and not cause what we are seeing on the screen. I don't know, Dr. Kechuku, somebody needs to just agree that somebody did not do what he ought to do to make this process seamless. And the court has said, let's wait till 22nd of February. But the government is saying, no, we'll allow 200 Naira come back. So it looks like some say it's even a contempt of court, some say it, but looking at the ruling from the Supreme Court, do you not think that we're to just hold on till the court pronounces something on the other side?
In my opinion, personal opinion, ruling or no ruling will not solve the problem. I think solving the problem and alleviating the sufferings of people should be paramount in everything we're doing. What about if the Supreme Court rules and nothing happens and the problem is not solved? So in this case, we shouldn't just be looking at what the Supreme Court ruled. We should be looking at what we need to do to solve this problem and alleviate the problems of Nigerians. I think the intervention of the president just yesterday in his speech was one of the avenues to reducing the problems that we are already encountering. I think it is so, because having to obey court rules, if you ask me, wouldn't actually solve the problem. Well, so it is for the lawyers to identify whether there was any context or anything like that or not. But for me, most important thing is problem solving. But before this problem started, I agree with you completely that certain things were not done right. And it is also important for you to identify what was not done right and then correct it and make it better. So I want to believe that that's exactly what the apex body is doing right now to ensure that supply is made seamless. Whatever thing they need to do to make supply of this thing seamless, whether it is in the 200 or the new 500 and the new 1,000, it should be seamless and it should be done like yesterday. And so that by tomorrow, all the crowd we are getting in all the banks and even CBN should all disappear. What Nigerians want is a solution. They're not interested whether you change the color today or tomorrow. They want to use their money. Their monies are in the banks and they want to use these monies. So, but I want to think that all efforts should be on right now on ground to reduce this suffering and to make supply of currency very okay and available.
Exactly. Some would say that with all of these challenges, where do we go from here regarding to our monetary policy and all of that? And some would also argue that the CBN has enough to grapple with at the moment. For example, the Ways and Means, which we say is above 20 trillion naira, And we are comparing that to about 3 trillion naira that we say is in circulation that we are trying to mop up. We've been able to mop up about 2 trillion naira out of this 3 trillion naira. So can't we just, some might just say, are we living what is important and addressing what is not as important as it should be? Changing the naira, many say, should be a process and shouldn't just come in for a 90-day thing. Now, what do you think about CBN not addressing other major issues that we grapple with as a country at this time?
Yeah, there's a saying that somebody whose house is burning does not look for rats in the house. Right now, we have the naira shortages. I don't think we're even thinking about any other thing right now. And what we want now is just to stabilize the naira shortage issue. And nobody will be talking about the ways and means. The ways and means have happened, and I want to think that the advice given by IMF and other things put together will actually restrain being so free, for us being so free with ways and means right now. Right now, as you and I speak, the most important problem and issue that we have to resolve is the issue of naira shortage. And if we resolve it, we will need to breathe well, because that is actually the problem we're having today, and it's embarrassing the country. For the ways and means, at the right time, it will be addressed. It will be addressed because I can tell you, part of the problems we also have today was just the size of ways and means. But it's a topic for another day. In fact, Tolu, that's a major topic for a discussion for another day. Today, we're talking about Naira.
Thank you, Doc, for agreeing with me that there's really a lot to talk about when it has to do with what the CBN needs to sort or not sort out. Okay, finally, now the POS guys, that's the point of sale machine guys that we see all around, are supposed to help, address some of these anomalies. One way or the other, some of them get this cash. We don't know how they get it, but now they are selling it so high, some are taking at about 10 to 15% of the amount you want to withdraw. And so you're getting 10,000, you're paying as much as 2,000. Some are paying as much as 3,000. So that is, the Nigerian factor is now coming in again. Now, what is your reaction to all of these guys making cool money, just like the black market guys are making on the field side?
Yeah, when, just like you said, when there is fuel scarcity, you could see people sell double the price they should have sold a particular petroleum product. So that's actually what is happening now. For these guys to access whatever currency they have today and they're ready to give out, I am very sure that they must have paid a lot of money to get the size of money they can give out from their peers. If they pay so much money to get it, knowing that the market is available to take whatever amount they get, they will do so because that is their business. Every business has a boom period. This is just their own boom. And just like petroleum products also have boom. People who sell food products also have boom during Christmas period, and people who sell rice, if you have 3 warehouses of rice during Christmas, you offload all of them by Christmas. So for them, this is their time. Probably when they finish this business this period, they will change and use it to go and do some other businesses. But if they must be in business, they have to access this money. And whichever way they access it, I know they get money. They pay money hugely, and then they want to take advantage of that and make money. It is their business.
Sad though. I must thank you so much, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Dignity Finance and Investment Limited. Well, I hope we get these notes. It's very important that we have these notes so we can spend, make transactions, and everyone can get to business. Small businesses can thrive, and the economy continues to move. We are still a struggling economy, and you will agree with me. Thank you for your time, Dr. Chijioke Ikechukwu. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Tolu.